Good day there viewers, my name is Cliff, I'm a gem cutter from Australia, and today we're going to be looking at a video of 5 gems to facet before you die, starting off with number 5, the standard round brilliant. The standard round brilliant design is the most commercially cut design sold on the marketplace, and if you're a learner or a beginner faceter, then it's usually the first gem you learn to facet. In my case, it was the first gem I ever faceted, and in point of fact it was faceted in quartz, exactly the same type of quartz as you see me at the moment holding, called citrine. In my opinion, if you're a beginner or a learner, the standard round brilliant should not be the first gem that you should attempt to facet. There are many other gems out there that are a lot easier when it comes to cutting and polishing. With most experienced gem cutters, the first option when cutting around is often a standard round brilliant, mainly because of tradition, and also when you've been cutting for a while you do know what the gem will look like once completed, so why not choose Old Faithful? And I've done this myself. You've got a piece of material that will suit a round gem, so you go for the easy option and just say I'll cut a standard round brilliant because you've cut so many before and you know what the outcome will be. So the reason why I'm telling you all this information about my top 5 gems is that I'm doing it for you the people, so you don't have to go through some of the pitfalls that I had to go through when I started to learn how to facet. If I was a beginner faceter, I would only facet the 16 break facets as you can see here, and then cut your girdle outline and then cut the crown, so you got your crown C1 facets, and I would only cut another 16 crown facets, say at 47 degrees, and then cut the table, and believe it or not, it will look spectacular on quartz. With the standard round brilliant you have other options also. You can cut the first 8 facets, which are your main facets on the pavilion, and then cut in the break facets. I tend to think the accuracy is better when you cut the break facets first, forming a nice culette to a center point, then cut your girdle outline. Now also, when you're faceting and you're a beginner, you probably don't have the money to spend $100 or more on a tin lap for polishing, so you can just go out and buy one of these Perspex laps, and these cost about $15 Australian, probably about $10 US, and you'll use cerium oxide. You make that into a slurry and then you can polish your facets. The downside with these Perspex laps, they can build up swarf, it gets underneath the facet and then scratches that polished facet. And here you can see, you know, this is sort of ad nauseum in my videos. This is the secondary transfer where I go on to cutting the crown of the gem. So here's a little bit of advice for the beginners. You're just starting to learn how to cut a standard round brilliant, and I can tell you that as a first gem there will be heartache involved and pulling of hair. And to avoid this, I would suggest that you not cut a standard round brilliant in quartz. Quartz is not as easy to polish as other gems. I would suggest that you start cutting the standard round brilliant or the SRB in topaz. Topaz is a lot easier to polish and it's a little bit softer for some reason. It has a silkier feel on the lap and it just cuts better. Also, I would keep the size of the gem down to about 10 millimeters, no more, because the larger the facets, the harder it is to polish, and you're just going to really struggle when you're polishing the table, as you can see here. So number 4 out of the top 5 gems you need to facet before you die is the oval step cut. This is a gem that is so unfashionable now. You go on all these web pages where you've got gem designs and all these designs that people are faceting. This is a design you don't often see anymore, and you kind of wonder why. I just love this design. In point of fact, I should facet more of these designs. Now you can choose any type of pavilion you want. In this case I've used the modified easy way step design, but you could do whatever you wanted. And I think this is more a cut for an intermediate or someone who's been cutting for a year or so. A step cut is more challenging than it looks, particularly in the oval variety. Not all oval designs are easy, so be a little bit mindful of your choices that you make, And with the step cut on the crown, you can also adjust the height of the crown accordingly to how much gem material you may have left over. So if you don't have enough material left over on the crown, you can start cutting angles a little bit lower if you wish. So let's speed things up and we'll look at the final reveal of what a oval step cut looks like. On to the third design that you must facet before you die, and that is the Squartugese Cut. This particular design was invented by Marco Voltolini, and I rate Marco in the top 5 gem designers out there. Now, I've faceted quite a few of Marco's designs, and I have to say that all of his designs for gemstones work. I haven't come across one that doesn't, and you can't say that about a lot of designers out there. They simply do not test the designs they facet, and they don't work. You have to adjust angles to get things right. With Marco's designs, I've found them to be absolutely spot on. Now, the Squartugese is a spin-off of the round Portuguese, and it's really quite inventive of Marco to have come up with a design that is like the Portuguese but in the square version. There is so much to like about this design. For faceters at all levels, if you've never had a go at this design, I would highly recommend that you try it out. There's nothing too complicated about this design, so if you've been faceting in your first year and all you've done are round designs, for example the standard round brilliant, and you want to move on to a square design that actually works, the sequencing is really good, then this is the design for you. There's nothing overly complicated about this design. Where Marco, in the way he's sequenced it, he's put in all the right ingredients for this square to work. You just sort of square it out a bit, you'll cut in your P1 facets to a nice center point. You've got baryon facets included, those 4 baryon facets on the side, and you'll cut those in, which is a good experience for the new faceter. And the corner facets really align well. You can't say that for a lot of square designs, as the sequencing is not quite right and you're trying to align those corner facets. But Marco really does it well. And then you got all your other smaller pavilion facets, just like on a Portuguese cut, and they will be easy to polish in. Now, the only thing about this design, it's really for a gem with a higher RI, refractive index, something like topaz or zircon. In this case, I've used topaz to facet the Squartugese Cut. On to the second gemstone you must facet before you die, and it's an absolute classic, the Portuguese Cut. This design has been around forever and a day and can be faceted in any material. When I say that it can be cut in any gem material, it will all depend on the refractive index of that gem, but because there are so many different Portuguese designs out there that have different angles to suit the right refractive index of that gem, you shouldn't have any trouble finding one. This is another gem that's currently not fashionable, it's not in vogue, and it's still a gem that I would facet at least twice a year, and each time I've completed the job and the gem is out of the dop stick, all the glue is removed, it still puts a smile on my face. This is a gem that really sparkles, it really scintillates, and all those facets that you have to polish in, I think it's a lot of fun polishing all those facets. As you can see now, you can see all those tiny facets on the pavilion, and it's almost like you're just sort of joining a jigsaw puzzle together with this gem. It really is an all-time classic gem. If you haven't cut this gem before, I really suggest that you have a go at it. Finishing off with the number one gem I think you should facet before you die. Let's have a drum roll on this one. Boy, this monkey is so happy, look at him. It's the Cleopatra's eye. It really is a world-class gem to facet. This is such a spectacular design. It was created by a gentleman called Bob Keller in the USA. Bob was a gem cutter and a designer. Sadly, Bob is no longer alive, but this particular design, in my opinion, outshines all the other designs out there, including mine. This particular design is not really suited for a beginner or a learner. If you happen to be an intermediate or an advanced gem cutter, do yourself a favour before you kick the bucket and give it a go. There are so many elements about this design that will test your skill level as a faceter, and it will also test out the accuracy of your machine. The Cleopatra's eye will test your skill level in terms of how good you are in at floating in facets to meet points. If you simply just want to read a design and copy what's on the schedule, then that probably won't work out too well for you on this design. So hopefully you have the abilities to be able to float in facets on the run. This design, more than any other design that I've cut, really pushes you to the limits of how good you are as a gem cutter, particularly the second last facets on the crown, which are the C8 facets. They are triangular facets that are opposing each other, and what most gem cutters do, they won't go that extra step because for some reason they don't have the nerve, and they know full well that there's inaccuracy going on as you're closing in on that table. So what they do is they cut the C7 facets and then the table, and then you have a simple step cut. But this design really does deserve to have all the facets cut from bottom to top. In closing, I would like to say that it's only my opinion that these are some of the best gems that you could possibly facet during your lifetime. If you haven't faceted these 5 gemstones, well, I would give them a go. They are all truly spectacular designs, and they are worthy of a place in the Gemstone Hall of Fame. Also, I would like to thank all my regular viewers and subscribers for watching my videos and taking the time to comment. I do like to read all the comments and respond to them, and special thanks to my patrons. It's your support of this channel that helps it keep running, and if you want to become a patron and support a small independent creator like me, your support will go a long way to keeping this channel going also. So I'll leave a link in the description area. So until next time everybody, it's bye from me, and I'll see you in the next video.